Okay, part 2 of July favorites. My camera doesn't like long videos apparently. Anyway, so part 2. Before I was so rudely interrupted, I was discussing mugwort. And this was the third card I pulled for my second half of the year check-in, the last 3 cards. Mugwort. And I thought it was so interesting that of all the cards in the Soulflower deck, and there are, I don't know, many, the 3 that I pulled were quite synchronistic. The Stargazer connected me to my mom, whose birthday is in July, and as I mentioned earlier, passed away earlier this year, so that's a connection. I love zinnias and grow zinnias, one of my faves, and I think it's really important that we bring in some lightheartedness into these heavy times, because if we don't feed our souls, if we don't experience some joy and lightheartedness, we'll get too downtrodden and we won't be able to do our work. So I think it's important to find some way to bring lightheartedness and joy into our lives. And I do plan on making a zinnia flower essence because I think we could use some of that lightheartedness and joy right now. But anyway, mugwort. So another one of my summer herbs that I've been working with and plan to continue to work with. As I discussed in the Mugwort, the Moon, and the Sacred Feminine video, I'm making some mugwort oil. And any good herbalist, any well-trained herbalist will always tell you, you must have labels. And so this is, I use partially dried mugwort, Artemisia vulgaris, in organic olive oil. And I started this on June 30th. So now we're August 2nd. Another week or two and I'll be decanting this, and I'll be able to use this for sacred bathing. And I'm looking forward to that. So that's mugwort. And then I also used, I got this deck in July. It's the travel version of the Next World. And I have the original Kickstarter, I don't know if it was a Kickstarter, but the original first edition deck, the large size one. And as I mentioned in my VR to Casper cardstock video, cardstock snob video, I have really small hands and it's hard for me to shuffle. And so it's really nice to have this deck. I'm going to use this deck a lot. I can shuffle it. I can bridge it. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh, it makes me so happy. So I did use this quite a bit in July, and I will continue to use it in to August. And I did edge it. So I did the majors in one color, the quartz in another color, and then I did the suits. I did the swords and the cups in silver, and the wands and the pentacles in a kind of a orangey pink. So I like how that came out, kind of pretty. And then for animals. So this summer I have been having a lot of contact with animals. I was out going to do some errands, and a mama river otter and her 2 pups, I think they're called, ran right across me. There's a river on one side of the street and a pond on the other, and they ran right across from the river to the pond. And that was the first time I had seen otters in my neighborhood, and man, I was so excited. And of course, otters are about happiness and joy and playfulness. So again, that message from the zinnia being repeated in animal guide form. And then I have this juvenile red-tailed hawk that is in my yard all the time and sits in a tree, and I just stand there and we don't really talk, but you know what I mean. We communicate with each other, and that's been wonderful. And then I have an owl. I hear it at night. I haven't seen the owl yet. I just hear it. And again, I have not seen or heard owls in my yard. I've lived here 17 years and I've never had that. So that was exciting. And then I was thinking earlier this month, I thought, well, I need to do some work and get in touch with, figure out more about my animal guides. And I had completely spaced out on the fact that 2 summers ago, a friend of mine and I were sitting on my back porch, deck really, and we decided we wanted to do a meditation and pull some cards to get in touch with our spirit guides. So I had the deck in front of me, and I said, I want to know, I would like to get in touch with an animal guide who wants to work with me. I'd like to know who that is. The words no sooner came out of my mouth than right in front of me came this hummingbird. Now, there's a flower garden right there with bee balm, which hummingbirds like. But that hummingbird came right about, 3 feet in front of me, right at eye level, and just hovered there. For like a minute or so. And then flew away. And my friend and I looked at each other and said, okay, guess we don't need to pull any cards. I had my answer. And that was just such a lovely, touching experience. And since that time, I have been connecting with and considering hummingbird to be one of my main animal guides. And so at the beginning this month, I pulled out some hummingbird cards from a couple of different animal decks that I have. And here we see joy. So we have the zinnia saying lighthearted, the otter, and then hummingbird. So I think the message is clear. Yeah, I need to do my work. Yeah, I need to protest. I need to be out there doing anti-racism work, going to Black Lives Matter vigils, doing all these kinds of things that I have been doing. But I also need to feed my soul, because if I don't do that, I won't have the energy to do the work, and I'll get defeated. And that's just what the powers that be want. They want us to get defeated. They want to defeat us. And I think that we can, as part of our work, bring on these joyful spirits, plant and animal, to feed our souls and to enliven us and lift our spirits so we can feed our colleagues and our comrades' souls and be there to support folks who are also doing this work. And as a white person, I need to be able to put myself in support of and defense of people of color. So having that energy and feeding my soul and my heart and healing my heart with joy is an important part of the work that I think we're all being called to do right now. So, on that note, I will say that is my July check-in. Those were all the things that I was working with and things that I enjoyed doing, my favorites from July. Will be interested in hearing what your favorites are in the work that you're doing. So blessed be everyone, and blessed Lamas.